want much this morning. The fact of the matter is that I have not gone live in quite some time. Like, I have not been live in what seems like forever, maybe a little over a month. And, you know, I was itching for it, and I wanted to get glam. I did my pedicure again, white toes year round. You all know me. I also tried a new nail color. You really can't see. It's kind of just like a flush of pink. It's called Sugar Daddy by Essie. It's really good. I like it. So, yeah. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to, like I said, get glam because I have not been in full makeup in quite some time. And I just wanted to feel nice. By the way, ignore this. This is not sweat. We're going to talk about this. But anyway, when you do full face of makeup, it only makes sense the earlier the better so that you can get a full day's, you know, you get your money's worth. The earlier you do your face, the more money's worth you get. So what this is cortisone cream, and I'm going to tell you why. I woke up one day and I don't know if it was heat rash or eczema. I'm not someone who battles eczema. According to my mother, the last time I had something along the eczema lane, I was maybe 2 or 3. So the fact that it's revisiting me 30 years later, and it's only on my neck and only on the base of my neck. I don't know what it is. But if you follow me on Twitter, then you saw that I addressed it. And, you know, you all gave me some great suggestions. So I've been trying to stay away from hot water, which is really a challenge for me because my shower's got to be hot. But when I get out of the shower, I use a cold compress, and then I apply my cortisone cream. So ignore that. It's not anything crazy. It's not sweat. It's the cortisone. So let's talk about it. You know, how have you all been doing? Weigh in. Give me a thumbs up in the comments if you've been doing okay. Give me a thumbs down if you haven't been doing okay. Like I mentioned, I've been absent from live because, well, I've been working. If you have not been keeping up, a lot of the things that I do, of course, are on my page and on my socials. But this time in my life, especially these last few weeks in particular, I've been working overtime as an attempt to try to recalibrate some things, right? Because things are crazy right now, guys. And what I'm struggling with is giving myself the grace of the damn pandemic. You got to give yourself the grace of the pandemic. I'm glad to see so many of you all are leaving thumbs up, you know, that you're doing well. And you know what? All things considered, I'm doing pretty decent, you know, today as well. Hi, Ryan. I'm doing pretty decent today. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Barry June, I hope I pronounced that right, says it's up and down daily. It's wild, right? I feel like that's the main talking point of this, is that we struggle to find consistency in our mood versus, you know, when the world was still spinning, we had some semblance of consistency with our mood, and it feels like we're out of control. So all of my little self-help books and how you dictate how your day goes, those things don't really seem applicable in the Rona. Because I feel like I can only do too much. I can only do so much, you know? I made a list of things I wanted to talk to you all about within this hour, and maybe I'll invite some people on and I'll go longer today. I don't know. I'm back. Will this be a marathon live day with Shar? Who knows? Only time will tell. So yeah, that's how I've been feeling. By the way, did you all listen to Denver's podcast? Now, Denver has a podcast titled Drinks with Denver. I did it last week or the week before. Yeah, it was the week before last that I did it. Had a great time. Shout out to Denver again for having me. You know, Denver works closely with B. Scott and lovebscott.com. And so I went over his house. If you go to the Drinks with Denver socials, you can get the recipe to what we were drinking. He concocted something named the Oh Yes, and it packed a punch. Let me tell you, it packed a punch. So what I've been up to, so like I mentioned, you all, my feelings have yo-yoed, much like a lot of you all watching. You feel like your emotions might be all over the place. So in an effort to recalibrate my life, I've been assigning myself things. And right now what I'm working on is updating my reel. And I commissioned a black woman to edit my reel, because that's where I want my money to go. What you do with your dollar is what you do with your dollar. I want my money to go to the black girl. So I gave my money to the black, and very talented. Shout out to Sharice Bryant. So I'm still pulling clips because, you know, you all know, even though I'm no longer with the FBE channel, I had some good moments there. So that's going to be included in my reel. Tons of red carpet footage, tons of red carpet footage. And then I have 16 episodes of the Kickback Couch. You know, I did that with BET. I did 8 with 20s and 8 with American Soul. So I got to comb through those and find my moments. On top of other stuff, other little projects I've been through. But you know what? As daunting of a task that as it is, I'm blessed to be able to have clips to go through. Because not everybody has that to their credit. You realize that, right? Not everyone can say that. So that's kind of, like I said, what I'm working on. What I've also felt really quickly, what I've also kind of felt like, especially within the last like 3-4 weeks, is that my interests have been all over the place. When I tell you all, I knew something was wrong when the Black is King trailer initially dropped around BET award season, and I didn't care. When have I ever known myself to not care about anything Beyonce's doing? Beyonce could make a song singing about cow manure and I'd be like, yes. I didn't care. Also, August Alensa. I call him Alensa because Whoopi Goldberg had a linguistic flub on The View, and instead of saying Alcina, she said Alensa. And I said, well, if Whoopi say his name is goddamn August Alensa, that is what I'm calling him from here on out. But the August Alensa and Jada Pinkett Smith and all of that entanglement mess, I didn't give a damn. Now, normally, you know, I'd have something to say. You know, I'd be all over this like white on rice, but it just let me know that I've been trying to feel things all the way through. That's what and if you know me personally or have been following some of the articles and things that I've been contributing to, then you know that has been like the name of the game for me. Because what's the rush? What's the rush to move on to the next? Feel it all the way through. The only thing with feeling things all the way through, the only caveat is there is no time limit. So sometimes feeling something all the way through may be 48 hours, and other times it might be 48 days. It's not fun. It's not fun, but I feel like I owe that to myself, right? I feel like yes, AG, I was not playing. But I feel like I owe it to myself to feel things all the way through. And I want to pass that on to you all. I want you all to feel things all the way through. What's the rush? What's the rush? And you know, pain, there's power in pain. I think that's how the saying goes. You know, it fuels your power. So you want to be able to have a story to tell on the other side of this when all of this is said and done. At least I know I'll have a few. I'll for damn sure have a few. So, I left the books. Hold on. Let me go grab the books that I've been reading, because I feel a responsibility to talk about. We're talking about books. We're talking about shows. I already told you all about podcasts. Let me go grab these books. So, what I've been reading lately, you all know I try to listen. Shar has to keep a variety to stay sane. So, I've still been listening to my usual podcast. I kind of took a break from Pop Culture Happy Hour on NPR, but I still listen to The Read, The Friend Zone, Getting Grown, you know, all the super friends, quote unquote. I love Keep It. But what I've been reading right now, and I have a highlighter handy because I come from the school of thought that some books deserve to be marked up, okay? So, right now, this book, Britt Bennett, The Vanishing Half. Now, I talked about this on Denver's podcast. This book is the first novel that I've read in years, because most of the books on my shelf are memoir, autobiography, because I love people. I love learning about people, and I love reading about people's, you know, peaks and valleys, you know, to maybe see how I might navigate something if I come across it, or what to steer clear from, you know, in these Hollywood streets. So I have memoir, autobiography, lots of self-help, because hello, therapy ain't cheap, okay? Therapy just ain't cheap. So Nina calls me Lady Rage with my Afro gloves. But I have a lot of self-help, memoir. I love an expose. Shout out to Ladies Who Punch, The Story of the View. If you know, you know. And what else? Black Feminist Theory. I've really been diving into that. You know that I have been screaming to everyone to get into The Goddamn Eloquent Rage by Professor Brittany Cooper. That should be required reading for everyone, especially if you're a Black woman. Eloquent Rage by Brittany Cooper. Get into it. I don't care if you get it by audiobook, physical book like I have back in my room, or what have you. You got to do the work. You got to know what you're talking about. But anyway, so this is a novel, The Vanishing Half. It deals with the South, colorism, escapism, mess. And this is the first time, like I said, I've really dived into a novel. And as you can see with my little bookmark, I'm nearly halfway through it. I haven't been able to really put it down. So The Vanishing Half, and then my first ever, which I'm kind of ashamed to say, but my first ever Bell Hooks book, The Icon, The Bell, The Hooks, All About Love. Bell Hooks, I've read transcriptions of interviews that she's done. I have read excerpts from some of her books. This damn book right here is already such a roller coaster that I have not really, because I can't really read 2 books at once. Can you all read multiple books at once? I can't. I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl who can read multiple books at once, especially when they're different subject matter. I mean, yeah, when they're different subject matters, and this is a novel, and this is the work. So this is All About Love, New Visions by the icon Bell Hooks. And like I said, some books deserve to be marked up. So I always keep a highlighter with some of these. And I haven't even gotten to the first chapter. And I've already highlighted things in the intro, okay? Because I want to, the reason why I'm reading this is, I mean, it was recommendation, but I also am on this path, like we all should be, okay? This never-ending path of self-discovery, self-love, self-worth, so that then I can show up for a partner maybe. Even though I feel like I can show up, you know, for one now, you can always better yourself, right? You got to be introspective. You got to be introspective, because I want to be able to love you and me. And if I got little holes in my love for myself, I'm going to have little holes in my love for you. Even though I don't necessarily believe in unconditional love romantically, because there's always an exit route, okay? So those are the 2 books that I'm reading right now. Like I said, more so The Vanishing Half. I want to finish that so that I can really fully dive into All About Love. Also, Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. Roxane Gay followed me on Twitter the other day, and I nearly shit my pants. Like, the Roxane, and I did her podcast last year, but getting that notification that she followed me, I was like, oh, excuse me. So that's what I've been reading, what I've been watching. Let me know if you all have been watching these things, okay? As far as shows, The Chi, which comes on Sunday nights on Showtime. There will be a new episode tonight. Hi, TT. There'll be a new episode tonight of The Chi. It's a show by Lena Waithe, and I was pulled to it, you know, during season 1, episode 1, because I'm a Chicago native, and a Chicago native made a show about Chicago. So let me see what this is about. And it's a really good story. It's if you have not checked out The Chi, start from the beginning. There's no way you can start from season 3 and be all caught up. You really need to walk through this journey. And it's only, like I said, we're in the middle of season 3. You can binge that. So The Chi is really good. HBO's I May Destroy You, Michaela Cole. You all want to talk about some conversation-worthy TV? I May Destroy You destroys me weekly, okay? It does destroy me. This show is one, I think it's the most recent episode, I can't remember if that was 5 or 6, but the most recent episode, and then like a few episodes back where I just was like, I need a focus group. I need to be able to break down some of this stuff and talk to people. It's such a brilliant show. It's such a brilliant show. And this is coming from a girl who was not necessarily a fan of chewing gum. Chewing gum wasn't for me, okay? It might have been for you, but chewing gum was not for me. But that damn I May Destroy You. And I don't know, you know, I was talking to Jace the other day, and he said that he heard it was 8 episodes long. But I read on Twitter that this is a 12-episode series. I guess we'll see. I guess only time will tell, because I don't know anything about anything. But I've been watching that. I've also, please don't judge me. Please, but you know what? If you do, so what? I have recently, and I have not watched this show in years, years. Marriage Boot Camp. Marriage Boot Camp on WeTV. It's the celebrity one. Phaedra Parks is on there. Hazel E is on there. Willie Taylor from Day 26 is on there. I jumped back into that. So I've been watching that. Also, switching over to HBO Max, I watched Legendary, which, hello, let's celebrate that. We know Shar is not really a proponent for competition reality shows. I come from the school of ensemble. I like the real world. I like Real Housewives. I don't really like all the Drag Race, Top Chef, even though I will watch those. I'm just not committed. It's not appointment TV for me. It's like you catch an episode and then you mind your business. And if you happen to catch another episode, then you catch it. You get what I'm saying? I watched all of Legendary and I really liked it. I really, really liked it, especially the guest judge aspect of it. I loved when Electra was on. Loved Tamar, which I hope she's doing better today. That story really tore me up. Loved Tamar. So I watched all of that, but I'm encouraging everyone to watch On the Record. On the Record is the documentary. Drew Dixon is at the helms of it, and it is the documentary surrounding the Russell Simmons accusations. Now, I love documentaries just as much as I love books, but when I tell you, very rarely do I go ape shit over a documentary. This documentary was so well done. And I mean, you got to be in a space to watch it, because I wept. And I don't know if it was the familiarity of a sister-sister thing, because it is essentially about ambitious Black women navigating these industries, right? And sometimes some of the nonsense that comes with that, and how largely we're just not protected in every instance. And so if you have the time, I'm telling you, and I know this documentary has been out for a while, but On the Damn Record, well, it's not On the Damn Record, it's On the Record, on HBO Max. It's good. It's a good one. They cover so many bases. It's a great documentary. And, I don't think if I ever talked to you all about Disclosure. Disclosure is good too if you haven't checked that out on Netflix. I've also been watching Greenleaf. This is their final season. And it feels like it's time to go. Most shows that have reached their final season or have had those announcements, I'm like, I haven't come across an announcement that's made me go, oh my gosh. It's time. And so what else? Oh, Unsolved Mysteries. Now, this is a show that, this is how, my entire life, I recently discovered I've been self-sabotaging myself in different ways. Minuscule ways. They haven't been overt. But I really got a chance to sit back during this quarantine and assess some things. And I'm like, Shar, you are responsible for orchestrating a lot of the fires that pop up in your life. And that's not to say that I've shifted blame or I lack self-awareness, because that's not the case. It's just, it was how they say that the pill of truth, a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. But Unsolved Mysteries, I forgot where I was going with this. I say that to say Unsolved Mysteries is a show I used to watch as a kid. And for what, I don't know. It was fascinating to me, but I always had nightmares. But I ended up binging this entire new season. In case you don't know, it's been rebooted. It's on Netflix, and it is good. It's good. There's one episode that you need subtitles because it's in French. But overall, it's good. I think they give us about 6 episodes. I see you all are talking about How to Get Away with Murder. Guess what? I watched How to Get Away with Murder in real time. So those of you who are just now catching up on Netflix, more power to you. More power to you. But the season finale, I see Khalif and Alexandra talking about the season finale made me cry. That was a good season. Series finale. What else have I been watching? Did you all watch Fatal Affair? Now listen. How many times are we going to see the same movie, y'all? And that's not me being critical of the actors. I love me some Nia. If you check my stories, if you watch my stories, then you know why. I love me some Omar. I love everyone involved. I love the guy who plays Nia's husband in the movie. I think his name is Stephen C. Bishop. I've always loved him. Ever since he was on Being Mary Jane as David. Yes, if you know, you know. However, this film, I had to mute parts of it, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm a rom-com girl. And I don't know if I have just a lot of secondary like trauma, but I'm a rom-com girl. And so even though this movie felt just a little bit silly overall, you know what it was for me? It was the music bed. The music bed with the suspenseful music. I'm like, I can't do this. I literally had to mute my TV. No spoiler. This isn't a spoiler, but I had to mute my TV when, all I'm going to say is when she was in his apartment. I muted my TV throughout that entire scene. But yeah, I watched that. I mean, I had to support. And in fairness, that movie was the #1 movie in the United States on Netflix the day that it dropped on Friday. So I watched it while I was getting things done. So, July 31st is right around the corner, and that's a big day. July 31st is a big, big, big day. Did you all see? Give me a thumbs up if you saw the newly released trailer for Black is King, a film by Beyonce, coming out on Disney Plus. We also, on the 31st, Rihanna is dropping Fenty Skin. Now listen, I'm always skeptical when celebrities do skincare lines because it feels like a jumping of the shark. It feels like something I don't need. But I love me some Rihanna, so I'm going to look into it. I just need to see the ingredients because I've been in this house. This is my first time wearing like full makeup in a while. And I want to say, I just needed a break. I needed to decompress after that whirlwind week I had in June where I was booked across the board, but I wasn't booked for fun things, which not everything that I do. When you are a talking head in this space, not everything you do is going to be fun. But it was just a week I felt like of nonsense. Kind of like being like, hey community, I know you may not see me as a woman, but I'm kind of human, and could you maybe, just maybe, try not to kill women like me and people like me and not advocate for that? Could you maybe try not to do it? It felt like a week of that. And so I was burnt out. Where was I going with this? I just lost my train of thought. I literally just lost my train of thought, which you all know is unfamiliar. Oh, the 31st. So I need to see the ingredients that are in Rihanna's skincare. I did like the ad. And also, yes, I was getting to that. We get a new Brandy album, which where the hell is the promotion for it? I know Brandy is an indie artist, but where's the promotion? Also, speaking of Brandy, did you all see, not to always link these two, but I mean, it's kind of by default. Did you all see the trailer for Monica's? Monica just turned, I think she turned 25, and Jill Scott turned 20. Not them in their literal senses of ages, but their work as like how we were introduced to them. Monica's Miss Thang is 25 years old, and then who is Jill Scott? Words and Sounds Volume 1. I think that was her first album. That turned 20 just yesterday. And what's in my cup, honestly, Nina, no, this is tea. This is a green matcha tea. No alcohol. It's 11:30. And the club is jumping. Which, by the way, the writing's on the wall on July the 27th. The writing's on the wall, I think, will be 21. Can you believe it? 21 years ago, we were paying bills and saying names and talking about bugaboos. My girls. I feel like Whitney. My girl. Hi, Archie. Good morning. So, yes, July 31st is a big day for us, okay? Like I said, we get new sounds by Brandy. We get a new Beyonce visual album, which I'm so excited about. The new trailer today, I was like, yes. I just need to prepare myself. I need to truly, truly prepare myself for this Beyonce visual. And then, of course, Rihanna's skincare. So we'll see how that goes. So let's get into a few topics. I got about 30 minutes left with you all. And if anyone wants to go split screen to talk about a few of these, just send me a request. It's just pop culture things. I want to talk. First of all, we lost Reverend C.T. Vivian and Congressman John Lewis, two pillars within the civil rights movement. We lost them both on the same day. And, Brian's coming on. Oh, yes. Oh yes, oh yes. We lost them both in the same day. We also lost Naya Rivera. Sad, sad, sad. Good morning. Well, you're on the East Coast, so good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shar.
It's
Keep
been
going, though. Keep going.
okay, okay, because it's
Yeah,
been a while. You know, we haven't been on live together since March.
I know.
But anyway, so yeah, we lost two pillars in the civil rights movement. You know, Congressman John Lewis and Reverend C.T. Vivian. And you know what I want to talk about? It's funny because you're in Atlanta, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk some Atlanta things. I have
Okay.
to first commend, I don't know if you're on the same page as me with this, but I really have to commend Portia Williams. She's had one hell of an evolution.
She
She's
really
had
has.
one hell of an evolution.
Look, from not knowing what the Underground Railroad was to freedom fighting.
My God, holy God, Heavenly Father. I am so pleased with her. You know, honestly, in full honesty, at the beginning of quarantine, Portia appeared on Watch What Happens Live. And I was watching that episode and I had to clutch my pearls. I said, oh, Portia knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And ever since, you know, we've had this civil unrest and these protests and things, Portia has been out there and making it happen, honey. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and they just started filming this week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what her story, like, I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I like Portia's glow up. She's really been, I mean, I won't say that I've known her, but I've known who she was since before Housewives, because you know her family has an amazing legacy here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always familiar with her, and I had seen her on set back in the early 2000s at a couple of music videos and things and what have you.
Wasn't
So
she?
like
Wasn't she in the Some Cut video?
yeah, among others, So yeah, like Portia has been around for a minute, but it is really great to see like her evolution as a public figure and as a human being. It seems like she's
Yeah.
really like risen to the occasion.
Yeah. So while I have you, Brian, because I have some other things jotted down and we're going to cover them, but I want to talk really briefly. I want to take put a pin in my topics and talk about what the hell is going on in Georgia.
So it's a cluster.
Hold on, because I ask that because I see that Lance Bottoms, Keisha Lance Bottoms, is like everyone wear a mask, and then the white guy who's the governor is trying to like file a lawsuit and make masks optional as things are going berserk. This country is going to hell in gasoline draws right now, and we're still politicizing masks. And Georgia seems to be one of the many southern states that is constantly in the headlines with this. So what is going on? Also, have you been acting responsibly? I got to get in your business too.
So I have been pretty responsible. I don't really do anything outside of work and going to the grocery store and, picking up takeout occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what part of the reason why things look so crazy and polarizing in Atlanta is because we are one of those cities that has like opened. I mean, literally, like I can go, there's this Indian spot that I pick up takeout from pretty frequently, and it's in like a really popular kind of like artsy district in Atlanta where people go to, hang out. There's tattoo shops there, bars, clubs, restaurants, and there are lines outside. You know what I'm saying? People are really just like fuck it. And I think
lines outside. There's maskless, 6 feetless lines outside.
Absolutely. And I think part of it is because I've noticed that a lot of the people that are here and a lot of the people that are doing things here are coming here because it's open. Like I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I went to Atlanta because I know that it's open and it was my birthday. So, I know people that have driven down here from like Charlotte or, just places that are surrounding that aren't really a far punch that really like come here because they feel like they can go to bars, they can go to clubs, they can go to the mall, they can do all of these things because these places are open.
A lot of Chicagoans that I know were actually down there for the 4th of July, and I was in disbelief. Like, you all, and you know what I did see? I ain't never been to nobody's club, nobody's compound, but I know about what goes down at the compound. I was appalled.
Oh my, Shar, like when I tell
Appalled.
you, when I saw those videos, the first, like I guess it was the first week that it opened, because I think Compound happens every first Friday. I'm not sure. I don't really go out a lot, so I don't really know. But I was just like, aside from just the fights, because that's not my ministry. That's not something I subscribe to. Um,
We see each other.
yeah. I was just like, wow, people are really out. Like they're out and giving no fucks. But I
Mm-hmm.
tried to not look at it from a judgmental space, because I do understand that, we have been locked down since March, and you don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what it is that they need in order to just feel some sort of just,
You know what, Brian? Like, all things considered, I don't come from a judgmental place either, because I figure if you don't care about your life, who am I to? That may sound cynical and rude, but listen,
but
my thing is, the only thing that I'm kind of, and I've been saying this since the beginning of quarantine, the only thing that has been driving me nuts is Shar wants to be out there too. But
and
Shar is doing
working.
the responsible thing. We have not flattened any curve. We have not flattened any curve, y'all. And so
This
it's
is
like,
getting worse. It's getting worse.
it seems extremely selfish to prioritize, because someone else told me this about their mental health. If I have to find creative ways to stay afloat, you should as well,
Yeah.
because the
100%.
thing is, what I feel bad about is, and I'm being fully honest with you, what I feel bad about is when people do get the inevitable tickle in their throat, I don't feel bad for them. I don't
Oh
feel
no,
bad
me
for them.
neither. It's like, of course that happened to you. You were at the club with 50,000 other people that you don't know, that didn't have on masks, that weren't standing apart from each other. Hell, you probably got it while you were in line. You
Yeah, and you
probably
know
got it.
what? I do know some people who have been doing like what I've been doing, what you've been doing, which is the occasional takeout or the grocery store at home. Because literally, I've just done the grocery store at home, a few laps around the park. I will be honest, because I think I've talked about this publicly. If not, then whatever. I did go to dinner one time. I think that was on the 100th day. I went to a roofless restaurant.
Yeah.
Everybody was far apart. I went with a group. Well, it was like me and two other people. I did go to dinner. I did Denver's podcast, so I went to his apartment to do that.
But again, Denver has probably been doing what he's
No, he
supposed
has. He has. And then yeah, so I haven't really cheated the system. And so that is my only thing. If you are living in negligence, like what's the old adage, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
to.
So
Yes.
it's very hard for me to empathize when you're at the club, and a lot of people are sneaking and not documenting it, right? A lot of people are dipping in these streets and just it's not on the gram or it's on
Oh,
close friends or something. And
Shar, one of
so
my closest friends, he, I'm not gonna say his name because he's, he came. First of all, he lives about an hour outside of Atlanta, and he came here. He snuck in town one day, and I was like, he was like, "Can I leave my car here?" And I was like, "Where are you going?" And he was like, and mind you, this is maybe in April, so things were still kind of like,
things were still at a fever pitch in April. People
yeah,
weren't loosening up until really around Memorial Day, from what I saw. That's when people really just lost their minds.
yes. And he went on a cabin trip. And I was like, with lots of people. And he like swore me to secrecy. He was like, "Don't tell our group chat that I'm going on this cabin trip." And I was like, but then he got caught because other people were documenting the trip and they saw him in the background. And I'm like, look, when you come get your car from my house, don't use your key. You just go straight to your car, because I don't know none of those bitches that you were with.
No.
I don't know. Like, don't, just go home.
And that's
You
my
know?
thing. Like, there are people that I want to try. I know a handful of people personally who have contracted COVID. I lost an uncle to COVID back in April. Another uncle has it. So I think I just have a different relationship to it, because a lot of people, especially within our community, I feel like unfortunately, this does not become real to them until it's at close proximity, until they have a tickle in their throat, or a cousin, a sister, an auntie, and a brother got a tickle in their throat. Now it's like, oh my God, y'all, this is real. Even, I went to college in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we first went on lockdown, people were still meeting up at the local, with fried catfish baskets and doing karaoke. Of all things, karaoke, when you're all on the mic. Every status I see now is day 18, pray for me. Everybody has the Rona. I know so many people, either personally or, do I know anyone? Well, no, none of my peers have lost their life that I know of, but I know people that have been hooked up to ventilators. And I know people who have, like, I went to a wedding in March and they didn't live to see 4th of July, so to speak.
But you know what's so crazy about you saying that, Shar? I don't know anybody personally that has contracted coronavirus. And it's so funny. A girl that I knew, she's actually a nurse in LA. She came to Atlanta and I was FaceTiming with her. And she was like, it's crazy being here because it really feels like there's nothing going on in Atlanta. Like, it seems like people really don't care. And she said that she'd asked people why it was like that. And she said a lot of the response that people gave her was like, well, I don't know anybody that has it. I don't know anybody that's been affected by it directly. And I can safely say, I can say for myself, like, I don't have any personal, close personal friends that have dealt with anything coronavirus related or have had like a relative have. So it is kind of, but that doesn't make me take it any less seriously. I have older parents. My dad is 75. My mom is 65. I live 3 minutes away from them. And I have respected, the fact that, and I'm used to seeing my parents almost every other day. We're the type of family that sits down for Sunday dinner. And I haven't been doing that, so I have taken it seriously because I have an older family and I still go to work 5 days out of the week. So I try to be very careful about being around them. And also, so I'm high risk as well. So I have really been trying to just not, just not do the things.
Listen, that has been my thing as well. When I was in breakdown, because I was in breakdown a few weeks ago, and my mom was like, why don't you just come home? And I told her that I cannot in good faith because, for one, I have chosen family out here in LA. I'm technically out here alone. I moved out here on my own merit and I white knuckled it, so to speak. I didn't move out here with someone's couch to sleep on or a leg up on anything. Like,
You just went and did it.
Yes. First. But my looming fear was I'm not about to be in this metal tube in the sky where you can't crack a window, the air circulating, right? And then landing in Chicago and coming to your house, okay? And spending time there only, like, my fear. I have a debilitating fear, and I know that we're not supposed to walk in fear, but if I'm being fully honest, my fear is that I would have went to Chicago to clear my mind, spend some time with my mom, eat her food, and as soon as I land back at LAX, now my mom has a tickle in her throat. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to live with that. I would not be able to live with that. Even just saying it just sent me spiraling. I wouldn't be able to, and that's been some people's realities.
Yeah, and Shar, I went to my parents early on during the pandemic. My mom literally, she like begged me to come to the house for dinner one day. And I went over there and my mom was like, we can sit at the dining room table. It's big. Your dad can sit at one end. I'll sit at another end. You can sit in the middle. And Shar, when I tell you that day, I went to my mom and dad's house. We were eating dinner. My mom stood up, tripped over a rug, and she fell face first into our china cabinet, and she had a huge gash on her face.
Oh my gosh!
She lost a tooth, and she broke her arm in 4 places and dislocated her shoulder. And I was sitting in the dining room with her, so I saw it all happen. And my dad was in his own office, and I literally like freaked out, like I was in panic mode. I sat her up. There was a pool of blood on the floor. I thought my mom was dead. She was out for like 5 minutes. And and this was really literally at the beginning of coronavirus, like our lockdown in Atlanta, like at the end of March. And I panicked. I called the ambulance. She finally came to, and my mom was like, when the EMTs got there, my mom was like, I don't want to go to the emergency room. I can't go to the emergency room because of, everything that's going on. And it was literally the scariest thing. And all I could think about was like, I should have never come over here in the first place. Like, if I had come over here, y'all asses would have been eating dinner in the kitchen. You wouldn't have been eating at the dining room table. It was just one of those things where I was like completely like, and my dad didn't come out. My dad was in his home office. He was like doing a Zoom meeting for work or something like that. I just literally like freaked out. Like it was the scariest thing. And all I could think about was like, this is my fault for coming over to my parents' house.
Oh my gosh.
So right. So the next day my mom went to the orthopedist. They told her that her arm was broken in 4 places and that her shoulder was dislocated, because all the EMTs could do with her not refusing to go to the emergency room was give her a sling. So she basically slept overnight with a sling on. She went to the orthopedist the next day. They told her arm was broken. They told her to chill for like a week and then next week come back to see how she was healing. My mom had to get a surgery. She has now these permanent pins and screws in her arm, and she's still not at 100%. She still can't lift, So it's just one of those things where it's like, this has really just changed. It has really just literally for me, like changed just everything. It's changed everything.
No, and you know what? I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm glad she's on the up and up now, because that seems traumatizing in its own right to witness something like that.
I told my mother I'm never eating in that dining room ever again. Thanksgiving, Christmas, I don't want to eat there. I saw you laying there with your arm twisted up around your back, like on some Beetlejuice shit, on some Death Becomes Her shit, laying in a pool of blood. Like, I never want to eat in that dining room again.
Yeah. And even just aside from things like that, Brian, I think, like, I was telling one of my friends that for my mental health, I have to confine this to 2020, even though the reality is that this is going to trickle into 2021. But I think that's also what's adding to the frustration, is there's no end in sight. And we see that the leadership of this country is only concerned with the dollar bill, y'all, and not actual lives. And this has been hard. I'm a freelancer. So freelancing isn't easy when the world is spinning. And now that the world has stopped, I'm like, chewing my cuticles down to the bone.
But I heard that you say that you're working. I'm glad to hear that you're working right now.
Yeah, so I've been working, I've been writing, but the work comes like, for example, I haven't worked it all this month, but I'm also okay for now. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't worked it all this month, and I'm a worker bee. I enjoy working. I enjoy what I do. But, things have died down. So there's no need to call the Black girl to be on your panel and to talk,
just like you saying that, one of my best friends, Casey,
yes.
he was in town this week working because all the production studios are open. He shot like 3 music videos this week. So people in LA are like, oh shit, we can get stuff done in Atlanta.
But see, I don't want to go to Atlanta because you all are turning into a cesspool. You all are turning into swill, and I don't trust it.
But that's just to piggyback off what you said about the leader of the free world right now only caring about the dollar. Him and our governor are like this. Like Brian Kemp and Donald Trump are like this. So even when Brian Kemp started to roll back the mandates, that was why. Donald Trump, I'm sure, told him, like, look, Kemp, you are the reason. You need to be the example. Start opening shit up. And then when Brian Kemp did it, and we saw the numbers spike, Donald Trump kind of backpedaled and was like, maybe Georgia was a little too aggressive. But you're the one that told us to do it. You wanted us to be the example for everybody else.
What terrifies me is the amount of blood that is going to be shed, so to speak, not literal blood, but there are going to be lives lost. And I feel like the longer this goes, the closer it is going to zoom in on proximity, where it's going to be like, I know someone personally, like I'm getting ready for, like my uncle who passed, I did not attend the funeral, but certain family members did, and they had to watch. He's in New Iberia, laid to rest, and they had to watch on like the Zoom type thing, like
Yeah.
a Facebook stream homegoing. I think it was maybe 4 people there, and
Yeah.
so this thing just this thing feels it feels like a nightmare that I want to wake up from.
But honestly, Shar, how do you see? Let me ask you this, because a lot of people have asked me this as well.
Okay.
Um, I I do think that there is a vaccination coming for this sooner than we think that it is. Are you one of those people that is against vaccinating? Are you one of those people that are like, I'm going to wait until the second round of this? Or are you somebody that is completely and totally against vaccinations? Because me, I have told people my ass will be the first in line. I will be the first in line. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm a diabetic, number one. And I because I have a pre-existing condition that is a chronic thing. I am, I, I'm always taking medication. I have to take medication multiple times a day, every day of my life. Um, I'm not afraid of being. I'm not afraid of getting sick because I'm sick. I'm a sick person. And if this is something that is going to prohibit me from going into the world and existing in a world where I have to be afraid to be around people, I'm rushing to do it.
See, okay, so my thing is I want to address this comment from Barry June about, so they say that their parents work in the death industry and funerals are so damn brutal with COVID-19. I believe that, I can't remember who to attribute this tweet to, but someone from the Houston Chronicle reported last week on Twitter that the obituary section was 43 pages long. Which is unprecedented, right? Because not everyone takes out a full page. It's not common practice in newspaper industry for people to take out a full page obituary unless you're of prominence and plus that coin. So what that implies to me is if the Houston Chronicle had 43 pages worth of obituaries, that's multiple people per page. So you're dealing with people from other causes, outside causes, maybe a car accident or old age. But a huge chunk of that, because 43 pages, let's just call a thing a thing. That's unheard of. Unheard of for an obituary section. So we know it's safe to assume, I believe, that a bulk of that comes from this plague, comes from this health pandemic.
100%.
But to answer your question, I'm a champion for a vaccination, of course. However, I'm very much iOS update girl. I will not be first in line to
You're not doing the beta version.
No. Because the thing is, these things are trial and error. And I want to be part of the trial, not the error. And I feel like it has potential to, I just got to see how y'all react to it. So since you're going to be first in line, I got to see how people like you react to it. And that will signify whether I'm like, okay, well, let me venture on down to my doctor's office and get this shot, or let me stay home. But I'm in no rush right now. And it's been very hard, Brian, very hard to get back outside. And like I said, people have been cheating. And that's what's been making me not want to be around anyone, because people are fundamentally out here lying. And they will lie to your face and say that they've been on lockdown. But like you said, if they're not posting, there's always someone that they're with, or always a story that you're watching and you're like, now hold on now. That's my homegirl. She's supposed to be on lockdown with me, and she at a sneak dipping off at a party.
So let me ask you this, Shar. What
Mm-hmm.
about dating in the pandemic? Or I will say, or not necessarily dating, but
having company,
or or not even necessarily having company, but like getting to know somebody. Like, have you been indulging in that? Because, you know, everybody needs a little touch every now and then. I mean,
So to answer your question, no, not really. Which is funny because I will be in a workshop, participating in a workshop. I don't know why I was tapped for this, but I will be participating in a workshop for a very popular dating app. Like they'll be talking to me. But I will shed light on why I don't do dating. Like I swore off dating apps long ago, only because my experience on there, I've either dealt with extreme fetishism
yes,
or extreme rejection. It's
yes,
never been any middle ground, even though I have been on some very nice dates. But most of the stuff has been like, you know, oh, I didn't read, or oh, thanks for letting me know, you know, you're still beautiful, just not my thing. Or it's went from, you know, I'm trying to take you out, when are you free, to can you do a split on the dick type instantly, you know,
it's either
once my business is disclosed.
it's either you're an object, a conquest, or a fetish. I can relate to you.
And one of my friends told me, Shar, your Instagram needs more personality. But I use my Instagram and most of my social media for work, and I feel like my personality shines. You just gotta find it, you know. But they're like, maybe that could be if any man is intimidated by my Instagram posts because the majority of them are work, then he's not the man for me. I'm an ambitious, strong woman navigating through Hollywood. Kiss my ass. I'm not dimming my light so you can like me.
Yeah,
But what I will say is it has not been easy because I cut off a lot of people. You know, I entered 2020 on my bad bitch. It's a new decade.
yeah,
You know, my birthday is the 2nd of January. I'm a Capricorn. So I'm like, new age, new year, new decade. I'm out. And so I cut off a good handful of people, but I have not regressed, even though the spirit of reconciliation hit me like in April, where, you know, you start reaching out to old friends, you know, I confessed my sins to someone, so to speak. And yeah, so I say that to say I've been tempted, but I have not. Also, I have a fundamental distrust for men. I always think that the gotcha's gonna come because I've just
yeah,
never, listen, I carry my own trauma. I also, like I said, have secondary trauma from the stories that the girls have told me.
yeah.
And it's like, what can I do? Are we going to be FaceTime dating this whole time? Because you're not coming over here and I'm not going over there. Like, if I start freshly dating someone, Brian, I expect to be courted and treated like a lady. We
Yeah.
ain't about to be Netflix and chilling, even though, like I said, I'm teetering on that edge of finding me a little boo thing. But the only caveat, Brian, the only caveat is if you'll do it with me, you'll do it with someone else.
Exactly.
So I can't trust. That goes back into the trust thing. If you're willing to cut corners to see and be around me, then who am I to believe that you're not willing to do that with someone else? And now I'm sitting up here, left to my own vices, living alone with the in my throat, in here warming up Campbell's and drinking elderberry tea, trying to get over my
And
stuff.
boiling sea moss.
Oh, I see. There's Capricorn. Hi, Micah.
Hey, Micah.
Capricorn.
You know, Micah is my big little brother. That's like my little. Well, he's bigger than me, but little brother. But yeah, but Shar, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so I did go on a COVID date.
Okay, I'm closing my laptop. So look, I'll revisit my hot topics later.
No.
No. This is too good. This is too good. Go. Hi, Jossell.
Hey, Jaquel. Oh, my Atlanta.
This is too good. You went on a COVID date.
So okay, I met this guy at the grocery store. I had on a mask. And when I went to my car, you know how sometimes like when you get to your car, you kind of just like take a breather at your car. And, you know, when you get finished doing something, you stay in your parking space, you're on your phone, you know, whatever.
But let me ask you this before you go on. Did you lock your door?
Always.
I was about to say that's the number one thing people forget. They get in their car, they get to adjusting their mirrors, touching up their Fenty Gloss Bomb. As soon as you close that door, you hit lock. And then you decompress.
I live in Atlanta, and Atlanta is I carry a bag. So Atlanta is the we're known for the slide in to the passenger
Oh,
side.
I know.
Grab the,
I remember when Queen Latifah's car got stolen at the gas station while she
yeah,
was down there filming Star. I said,
yeah,
"Oh,
very that. So I always lock my door before I get too comfortable. When turn on my air, start looking on my phone, and so I had taken off my mask, and when I pulled out of the well, I took my mask off when I started loading up my car. So when I came out of my parking space, I pulled up to the the exit of the parking lot of the grocery store, and this car was following me. And when we finally got to a light, I was really close to my house. He was like honking to like get my attention. And so when I rolled down the window, I was like, yes. And he was like, I've been trying to get your attention since you walked out of the grocery store. And I was like, well, you have my attention. And he was like, can you pull over into the gas station? And I was like, for what? And he was like, right. He was like, I just want to talk to you for a second. And I was like,
I would have been like, what in the Wayfair cabinets is going on here?"
but Shar, he was fine as hell. So
I know. Listen, that can sway you. That always can sway you.
Because let me tell you something, I would never.
Yeah.
I would never. So I pulled over, and he was like, you're not gonna get out of the car? And I was like, no.
What?
I was like, absolutely not. And he was like, well, I was watching you in the grocery store, and then when you were loading your car in, I was trying to get your attention, but you were just not, you were in your own world.
You weren't trying hard enough.
Right. He was like, you were just in your own world. And he was like, that was just so interesting to me because nothing else, like I could just tell you weren't focused on nothing else but getting your groceries in your car and going and leaving. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't be paying nobody no attention. Like I be in my zone. And he was like, well, can I get your phone number? And I was like, no. And he was like, why not? And I was just like, because what are we going to do?
Hold that thought. This live is about to end, and I need you to come back for part 2.
Okay.
So I'm going to end this one prematurely, and then I'm going to hop back on, and all of you watching, come right back too, so we can hear the rest of Brian's story about this COVID date. Okay. See you soon.